welcome to another edition of the Arsenal Fan TV podcast, the World Cup Weekly. I'm your host, Giles, and we've just finished, we're just recording on the back of the dramatic 2-1 Netherlands wins over Mexico. Joining me this evening will be, I've got James Johnson. James, how are you?
I'm good, thank you, mate. How are you doing?
Not too bad. We've got Sima over in Beirut. Sima.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Enjoying the sunset?
Yeah, I really am.
Yeah, I saw your picture, man. We've got Vincent from Arsenal.fc.fr in France. Vincent, how are you?
Yeah, I'm fine. Hello, guys.
Good. And finally, we've got Marcus, a.k.a. Loomis, at Loomis7 on Twitter, isn't it?
Yeah,
over
that's
in.
it.
Where are you exactly? Whereabouts?
Right now, I'm in Salvador.
Salvador. That's what is it? Which game have they most recently played in Salvador?
I think the last one was Iran and Bosnia.
Okay, cool. Is that up north or the sort of northwest or northeast of the island?
It's pretty much it's like center, but to the west.
Okay, is that is that Bahia? Is it Bahia around there, Salvador? Right. Yeah. Cool. How are you enjoying the experience over there?
It's great here. The only problem is the weather's been worse than it is in England. People don't.
I doubt that.
It's raining every day, so every time I want to go out and like take pictures and stuff and just chill, it's raining. I can't really do the whole tourist thing as much as I want to, but it's been really good. Like,
it's a massive country, isn't it?
Yes, yeah. That's a bit of a problem with getting around to games. If it's in like lots of different cities, it's not as easy as people think it is to just get around because it's so huge. It took me 30 hours to get here from Rio.
Wow, so. Crazy. And therefore you have different climates. Yeah, you could be sunny and humid in one area and dry in another area, and as you say, raining in a completely different part of the country as well.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, and we were talking before the podcast. Who have been, as you've been going around the country and going to different fan festivals and whatnot, who's been the best fans in your experience?
Chile.
By far.
Chile. I would say compare this between Chile and Argentina. There's no other competition for them. Those two were the highest up, and I think then Chile would just about pip Argentina in terms of the fans. Yeah, even when there was a Brazil game going on, the Mexico game. Wait, which was their last group game? Was it Mexico?
Who? Brazil or?
Oh no! I watched the last group game here, so no, it was the Mexico match. So, yeah, in the Mexico match. During the Mexico match, I think half time you just heard loads of chanting. You think it's Brazil fans, but you turn around, there's a Chile flag being waved because they were all along the beach. So like a lot of them drove up to the beach, just parked along the beach, camping out on the beach. So it was just always the Chile fans there every day. You just hear them chi, le, viva Chile.
Cool. Great stuff. All right, cool. All right, so let's move on into the last 16s. Yesterday we had two results where Brazil beating gallant Chile on penalties. Luckily, in my estimation, and then we also had Colombia doing away with Uruguay. I'm going to start with you, Sima.
Yep.
Yesterday's games, what did you make of them? Start with the Brazil game.
The Brazil game, like you said, I think they won luckily, but Julio Cesar was really good. I think he had a good game, and the penalties he did save them as well. As for Chile, I did think overall they've had such a good competition. They've been really strong. I feel really bad for them for leaving, but yeah.
Okay, and then also there was today's game. We had the Netherlands game 2-1, another dramatic finale.
Yeah.
Against Mexico. What did you think of that?
Yeah, that was actually very sad because it was the last 5 minutes where they lost. I think also, again, I said this last time on, I think I was talking to you. I was saying the goalkeepers this competition have been really strong, and I think this game showed it as well till the last 5 minutes, which was unlucky. But yeah, overall it was an interesting game. I did think Mexico deserved to win it. They had most of the possession in the first half, and overall I think their performance was a lot stronger.
Vincent, What is your summary of the games that you've seen
Well,
in the last 16?
In the last 16, the Brazil game was really, I think, a massive game. I assume that it can be in the pinnacle, in the Hall of Fame of the best games of the World Cup history. Truly, you got all in intense game, pressure. It was impressive. And I agree that Brazil was a bit lucky, but in the end they deserve, because they keep their face, especially in their keeper. Was really great. Colombia, was not truly a surprise, because we knew before that Colombia was superior, was better than the Uruguay, especially without Suarez, and the Netherlands were a bit lucky, but also I think Mexico was too defensive. Their last substitutions was to put a striker off and a defender on. They tried to defend. They're 1-0, the 1-0, and I think they lost by that. So Netherlands was stronger, and it was like that.
Mm-hmm. Marcus.
Yesterday, the footage I'm actually sending it over to Robbie now, so you'll see the video of that later on the channel. But yesterday was crazy. The pressure when when it came to penalties, like my heart was beating as if I was Brazilian myself, because I just did not want to see them go out like that. Unfortunately that Chile went out. They had a good game as well, I reckon. I think Howard Webb, he hasn't this season in general. Like usually Howard Webb's one of the referees you can say he's going to be putting in a good performance, but I've noticed a few performances throughout the season has been a bit off, and I think he had a few bad decisions yesterday. I think also a lot of credit's been given to Cesar, but also I think yesterday Alves and Neymar had really good games, and especially Neymar, like he had the world of pressure on him when he had to take that kick. But if he missed that and then they scored, he would have been all over it. And he's like the poster boy of the World Cup, so maximum respect to him for that. Colombia, I knew Colombia would win, and I wanted to see Uruguay go out. I don't think Uruguay deserves to go through anyway. So I was happy to see Colombia win. That goal, I think, contender for goal of the Cup.
Yeah.
Definitely from Rodriguez. It was amazing.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah,
I was actually leaving the fan fest when the game was on because it was starting to rain. And then I just turned to look at the screen for a second when he just hit the volley, and there were some Colombians behind me, just went crazy. It was
and he's only 22 years old.
22, yeah.
It's
incredible talent, isn't he?
Yeah.
Okay, so going on to
I think unlucky. Mexico very unlucky. Ochoa, we need to sign him up, definitely. He's
free.
Very good today.
He's free.
He's free.
Yeah, he's free.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely happening.
Okay. James, what's your assessment?
Yeah, I mean, the Brazil Chile game, I mean, I don't know if it's just the South American teams that put England and that to shame when they sing their anthems. It's brilliant to watch. Even on telly, you feel it. It's electric. I think they're singing when their anthems play. It's brilliant to watch. And I think Cesar, people know my opinions on the man. I've wanted Arsenal to get him for years. I mean, I've got family over in Italy. Some of them are Inter fans, some of them aren't. I follow him to myself. And when I knew he was on the market, even when QPR were in for him, I'm like, what are the top four teams doing? Because this is a world-class keeper. And people were saying, he's aging, he's losing it. He had a brilliant game yesterday. Brilliant game. And I don't know how David Luiz can claim that goal. I don't know. It's the goal committee on there. It didn't look like David Luiz's goal to me. But
FIFA claimed it for him. FIFA claimed it for him, so he didn't ask, but he received. It's like that.
And I thought Hulk was unlucky. I mean, I'm not a big Hulk fan. I don't really know what he's done in this tournament. I look at some of the players that Brazil didn't pick, and I see Coutinho and I see Kaká, and they've got Fred there as well, or Tom Selleck now with his new moustache, Magnum, yeah. But
and Joe.
Yeah,
Joe,
yeah. Oh my days.
And Joe,
He was frustrating.
He couldn't cut it at Man City. I don't know where he is now, but oh god, he looks dreadful. But yeah, I thought Chile were unlucky at the end. I'm racking trying to find the player's name, but when he hit the bar, we were all a group of us watching it. My friends were like, oh, and then we were like, oh, because you know, my brother's got them in the sweepstakes, so I was trying to root him on, seeing because he needs the money, bless him. And but no, it's sad that they went out, and it's like Loomis said, really, the Chile fans, you can tell their atmosphere is brilliant there, so it's sad to see them go. But as far as the Colombia game, I only saw the goals, but Rodriguez, I thought Cahill was going to take some beating, but that's incredible. I love seeing ones hit the bar and go down like that. I mean, I always used to love that Tony Yeboah goal against
Liverpool.
Yeah, and there's the other one he scored at
Yeah.
Selhurst Park. I can't remember. It was either Palace or Wimbledon at the time.
Yeah.
I think we're playing there. But yeah, I love seeing goals like that. It's brilliant. Beautiful to see. And then obviously Netherlands. Yeah, I'm happy, you know. I've got them in my sweepstakes and I can cheer them. You know, Van Persie got taken off, so I could cheer Huntelaar scoring. I was happy with that. So, but I mean, Robin, I thought Rafa Marquez has had a solid tournament for his age. I think this is a guy very underrated, even when he was at Barcelona.
Yeah.
As a centre-back, I thought he's always been quite a solid defender. But, you know, if you leave a leg out there, Robin, you know what he's going to do. You know, he's got his armbands on, he's got his rubber ring, you know, he's going to jump in the pool and dive. So, he did, and it's just, you know, that's the way things go. But I don't know why they didn't start Hernandez from the start. Because they're whipping them balls in. They got no, you know, there's no... I'd start Javier Hernandez. If you need a goal, he's one of the ones who'll get you it.
But wasn't it a case of Dos Santos and what's the other guy's name? Peralta have got a good relation. They've got a good combination.
Yeah, they do. They do play very, very well together. Yeah, I'll give you that. Actually, yeah.
Mm. Okay. All right. So going back to the Brazil game, a lot of people were wondering whether Chile could do it. You know, I think they seemed a lot from 4 years ago. They seemed to have come on quite a lot. And Chile did give as good as they got, but at the end of the day, the quality I suppose they didn't have enough quality to win it. Going back, both Vincent and you, Marcus, made the comment about so much pressure on Neymar's shoulders, but he seems to sort of like wear it like a badge of honor sort of thing. How far do you think that the Brazilians can go? Do you think they've got it to win it? Because next up are the Colombians. The Colombians, I think they qualified second in the South American qualification stage. I'm not sure. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think they qualified a lot higher than the Chileans. So, I mean, do you think Colombia will give them an even tougher game, Marcus, or do you think Brazil should prevail in that one?
I don't. To be honest, the way Brazil play after literally every game, I'm looking after the game hoping that, okay, now Brazil have convinced me that they can go on and do this. They've answered the questions that I've been asking of them and the players. But after every game, it's the same thing. There might be 3 or 4 players that have a great game, but overall as a team, they don't really seem to just gel like you've always seen the Brazil teams is playing without. It's not. It's effortless to them usually. It's just natural. But yesterday there's so many wayward passes and turns over possession, and they were lucky to. Even though they had a good game, Chile were a good team, and they didn't get through with ease. And Colombia is also going to give them that challenge. So I want to see them do well, but I still think it's going to be a tough game. I can't call it. I think Brazil could beat them, but. As far as going all the way, like if it came down to Brazil having to go against Germany, I couldn't see it going any other way than Germany winning at this point in time. But then you have the home advantage and the whole atmosphere and the pressure on you, so they could probably grind out a result and make miracles happen. I hope, but if you're just looking at it from an objective perspective, I can't really see Brazil doing spectacular against Colombia.
Vincent, as we've already said, Colombia, they seem to be a more rounded team than the Chileans. They've got so much more attacking components to their team, and even on the bench, I didn't realise that Freddy Guaran's on the bench. They've got, I think they've got another striker. I can't remember, whose name escapes me on the bench. Is it Adrian Ramos, who's just moved Borussia Dortmund on the bench.
Yes.
Yeah. And this is even without, Radamel Falcao, who's their talisman and who's everybody's probably, or a lot of uninitiated people probably thought carried most of their hopes. But, as I said, Colombians seem a lot more rounded. Do you see Brazil having an even tougher game in the quarterfinals?
Definitely. You're right. About the Colombia, they're really close of the Chile team spirit speaking. They got a very good defense. We were talking about the Mexico and the Mexican of their defender, but Colombia has the same, a very old defender, but really efficient. Is Mario Yepes. He's doing a great tournament. They got Ospina as a goalkeeper, who is really good, really impressive. They lack Falcao, that's true, but they got this impressive James Rodriguez, who is playing for Monaco in French League One. So I saw him very often this season. He's really impressive. So I think this is a very tough team, and I must be honest, I'm really not impressed by Brazil, especially in defense. They sound to be very weak, and despite they got two really good defenders, well, especially one good defender with Thiago Silva, because David Luiz is, I don't know what you think about him, but I don't see him as a very good defender.
He likes to push up, doesn't he?
Yeah, and that's the big problem. That's the big issue with him. And Thiago Silva is a very good defender, but he's really struggling with David Luiz alongside him. And I think Brazil is really lucky. They got a good goalkeeper, that's true, but they are not as strong as a team. They are not as strong as Colombia, and it's gonna be a very tough game for them.
Sima, just how good do you think James Rodriguez? How good do you think James Rodriguez has been in this World Cup? I mean, Neymar's come to the table, come to the event. He's been, great. Also Messi, but Rodriguez. Do you put him up there in terms of one of the players of the tournament so far?
Yeah, it's 5 goals, 4 assists. That's all. 5 goals and 4 assists, and he's 22, and nobody was expecting him. And he's here, and I think if Colombia will go far, he will be the best player of this tournament.
Okay, Sima, do you agree with that?
Yeah, I do, but I also think it has a lot to do with the fact, like they said, Colombia play a lot as a team, and I think that helps him a lot as well. Colombia has I realize also Algeria, Nigeria, Chile, Mexico. Most of those countries played really well. They gel well together, unlike Brazil, also, I don't know, everyone really likes Germany, but I feel like Germany will suffer in defense because of their slow defense. But, James Rodriguez, he's really impressed, really impressed me. And his goal yesterday was fantastic. It was amazing.
And the second Colombian goal is a masterpiece of collective,
it was, perfection. Absolutely. Yeah,
I haven't seen it yet.
That's the one where the Cuadrado sort of headed it back towards Rodriguez on the 6-yard box, wasn't it? Is that the second one? It's sort of a team goal, wasn't it?
Yeah. I mean, he's a player that they don't talk enough about as well. I think he's fantastic, Guardado. I think he's superb.
I think it can be labelized as Arsenal goal for me.
Yeah.
That's no, truly.
I wish.
Okay, so you've been watching him at close hand, haven't you, Vincent? In France.
Yeah.
He was really good in Porto, so hence the 45 million euro move to Monaco. But has he sort of carried on that sort of form in France?
I must say that Wenger is watching him closely since a long time. He was with the players' fathers and mother. The day before the game, he was in breakfast with them, and he spoke to them. He said it on French TV, and I think Rodriguez that kind of player who will be fit perfectly with Arsenal, fast, passing, love the pass. And with Monaco this season, he was really brilliant to assist, He's really fitting the game, going forward, always seeking for the good pass, like Özil, and I may say like Bergkamp. That kind of player who just, okay, I will give the ball to my teammates to score perfectly. And they lack Falcao. Monaco lack Falcao too this season because he was injured this winter. And but without that, I think they would have push the PSG for the championship title.
Okay, Marcus, do you what kind of player, what kind of mold do you see Rodriguez in? What kind of player does he remind you of?
I don't want to say the name, but yeah, you know what I'm going to say, but I don't want to say the name. Yeah.
Okay. He reminds you of him, does he?
Yeah.
All right, cool. All right, so let's, the today's game. For a long time, I thought that the Dutch had blown their gasket. It seemed like the heat and the humidity. I mean, I'm not sure what it was, but it looked like the heat and the humidity. They seemed to be sort of weighing them down. And then, the boss Van Gaal takes off Van Persie. I'll say it for you, Marcus. Takes off Van Persie and brings on Huntelaar. And it sort of changes the game, doesn't it, James?
Yeah, I mean, that's a big call as well, because, well, I hate saying it, I hate giving him credit, but you know what you get with Van Persie. He's the talisman, he's the captain. But he took the brave move, and it paid off with the penalty. So, fair play to the guy. But, I don't know, I thought first half, I'm like, this isn't the Holland I've watched the whole tournament, against Spain, that fluidity, the, passion's there and all that. I don't know, they sort of come across like they were going to walk it. And
do you think that
De Jong went off as well, and that's
injured,
a good bit of defensive stability. If you want someone to kick someone in the chest, he's your man. But no, I just thought that they lacked a bit going forward. It didn't seem that they really wanted to, go for it. But then in the end, Schneider, that's a good goal as well. He can hit them.
Exactly. Marcus, do you think that was down to the actual climate? Because they're saying in Fortaleza, I mean, it's the earliest they've played a game in Fortaleza today, and it seemed to be, I mean, from what they were telling us and what we could see on the screens, it seemed to be baking hot. The people who were sort of like in the sunlight, left minutes before the end of the first half, to sort of get some shade and some drink. I think they had the water breaks, was it? Or
yeah, they had two.
Two fluid breaks and whatnot. I mean, how hot is it? Have you been up to Fortaleza? I mean, how hot is it over?
I've only been to Salvador and Rio, and they're both pretty cool. So, like, when I saw them taking the water break, it was making me realize, like, just how diverse the country is. Because if I was playing football here, I'd be fine. It's like probably the highest it gets around here is 27. So, yeah, it's probably a lot hotter up there and more humid as well. So I've already experienced that kind of heat where I am.
Okay. Sima, do you think it was a bit crazy that FIFA would start the game at such a time?
Yeah, but it just makes me think about what they're going to do when it's in Qatar, because that's even worse. That's I think right now it's about 40 degrees, 50 degrees, and that's what it's going to be like if they actually do it there in 2022.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah, but yeah, I do think it is crazy, but at the same time, at the end of the day, they need viewers. In order to get viewers, they have to do it at a normal time where people can watch the game as well.
Okay,
there's that point.
Yeah,
I think in Qatar there will be at least a fresh, break, even each 5 minutes or 10 minutes.
The advertisers are going to love it, aren't they?
Yeah.
Sell them some stuff, quick.
Oh dear. Okay. So who have Holland got next, or is that the winner of the Greece-Costa Rica game?
Yeah.
Winner of Costa Rica game, yeah.
And Joel comes.
So probably Costa Rica.
We hope, hopefully, definitely, Costa Rica. But do you think they could be in line? Do you think they could be in line for a Greek tragedy? I mean, could Greece could Greece do one on them? What do you reckon, Vincent? Do you think Greece are more like the Trojan horse, bearing gifts and whatnot, and they could derail Costa Rica? Or do you think Costa Rica's got enough to see them off?
Yeah, the fact with Greece, you never know. You never know. They are playing like that since quite 10 years. They won a European Championship like this.
They did,
1-0, header, goal, 1-0. Okay, that's all. And they won. And you never know with them, but I'm quite confident that Costa Rica will qualify. I think they play both very defensive and tough football and offensive, very interesting football, especially Campbell, who is, I must say, I'm really impressed with the boy. He's mature. He's a boss. I really, he's a boss of this team, and you can see it on the field. So, I'm quite confident that Costa Rica will struggle, but they will qualify.
Okay, cool. Sima, as Vincent said, Greece have a way of playing, haven't they? They're very boring, they're very unimaginative, but they sort of seem to sort of wear you down. If you give them a chance, if you don't take your chances, there's always that thing in the back of your mind that they could wear you down and score that goal. They don't seem to have anybody of any note really that could hurt you, but they've done it already, haven't they? And they could well do it again if Costa Rica aren't careful. Do you think Costa Rica have shot their gasket? Do you think Costa Rica has sort of reached the level now and they can't really? Are you worried that they could go out tonight, or do you think they have enough?
Actually, no. I think Costa Rica can go further. Greece is very unpredictable. Like I can never judge Greece. I can never say Greece are good or they're bad or they're defensive or they're offensive. I can't say anything about them because they are very unpredictable. But I do think Costa Rica have advantage also in terms of climate as well, and they do have. I mean, I do think Joel Campbell can make a difference as well in the team, and sometimes every team needs that game changer, and I think Joel Campbell could be that for Costa Rica.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, so let's move on to tomorrow's games. We've got France versus Nigeria and Germany versus Algeria. We'll start with France, Vincent. What are your expectations? Are you expecting to walk over Nigeria? Remember, I'm the host and I'm the Nigerian fan.
Okay.
Choose your words carefully.
Yeah, I remember. Well, talking about the weather, and I think it's a good question. I'm a bit concerned about the time of the game. The same of the Netherlands versus Mexico of today. So with high temperature. And so I'm a bit of concern because I think Nigeria will maybe got a bit advantage with the weather, but collectively in team spirit, I must say France is impressive, especially in the middle. We will certainly at 99% we'll see Koscielny tomorrow. Because he will play instead of Mamadou Sakho, who is injured. So Laurent played the last game with France. He was, boss. Maybe Giroud, but not sure. It depends of how Didier Deschamps will want to play. Maybe with Giroud up front. And Benzema maybe on the left, but we don't know for the moment. We will see, but definitely Koscielny will start, and maybe Sagna, but it's not sure. But maybe Sagna or Debuchy on the right, but Koscielny will be there. Nigeria is a really good team and African champion, and they are tough. They have a good goalkeeper too, and in France, I can assure you that in France, nobody is taking, this game for an easy game. Definitely not.
Good. Can I ask you? You've made some statement points about how France might line up attacking wise. He's had two different kind of ways of playing. He's played with Benzema up front, which usually means Griezmann on the left, or is that right? Griezmann, if Benzema starts up front, Benzema starts up front, then he plays Griezmann on the left.
The left, yeah.
If Giroud starts up front, then he plays Benzema on the left.
But Benzema can, you know, come back in the center of the field, and very often it's or Sissoko or Pogba who will go and take the space on the left. When attacking, it's 4-2-3-1 or 4-2-4-3-3, and when defending, it's 4-4-2. And for the time, it's quite efficient in both. They scored a lot against Switzerland with Giroud and Benzema, and in 4-3-3, in fact.
Okay, Marcus, are you impressed with how France has sort of started the World Cup?
I'm very impressed and surprised a lot by the way they've been playing. They blew away Switzerland. I was at that game. It was very, very, very good. Unfortunately, when I went to watch that match, most Brazilians don't like France, so there wasn't much support, so the atmosphere wasn't that great. But yeah, France has been very impressive. Giroud's been very, very good. He's just looking good for the start of the season for us, playing well with Benzema as well. So good. I predict that they'll win tomorrow. I think it might be a bit comfortable actually. But
I think I'm gonna cut Marcus has to go now.
Thank you, Marcus. Thank you.
James, do you see? What kind of hope does Nigeria have to get a result in tomorrow's game? In your opinion,
I don't really know a lot about Nigeria. I've been watching some of their games, and I really like Musa. I think this guy, the pace of this man is incredible. He runs and runs for days. So you don't know. I mean, the fullbacks, for France are going to have a tough day. I think Emenike as well. He's one of them. The strength and the power. He's got it in his locker. But I'm just really worried for Ambrose. I'm sorry, Giles. I think he's going to have a really tough day. I've been really impressed with Griezmann this tournament, and I love Valbuena. I really.
I heard that the Brazilian fans are just in love with Valbuena.
I think he's a brilliant player. I mean, I've watched some of the French league last season, obviously, as it's just come on the telly over here now. Like, it's getting a bit of exposure. And for Marseille, I think he's a brilliant little player. I think feeding wise and scoring wise, he's a brilliant player.
To be fair, with Marseille, he had a really tough season, an average one. But he is the mastermind of this French team.
Yeah. Yeah, I think he's a brilliant player. I love him. Love to watch him.
So Vincent, you don't think they've lost a lot in terms of? I mean, Ribéry went down with an injury before the tournament. You don't feel that they've lost a lot in terms of what he brings to the attacking third. Do you think that they've managed to cover it, or they will manage to cover it if they progress?
I think Griezmann stepped up. I think he got given the shirt, got given the opportunity, and he's took it well.
The thing is that when a sub comes in, there is no lack of quality, and that's for me, it's a good sign of a team spirit. You have Schneiderlin, who is on the radar of Wenger, if you heard of him, the Southampton player. He played an entire game, the last game with France, against Honduras and Ecuador. Sorry, and he played really well, and he was really good, and he's just a sub. So they lack Ribéry. Oh, everybody was fearing the lack of Ribéry, but finally Griezmann, as you said, is on his way to shine, and that's a good sign of a team spirit for me.
Okay. Sima, there's some key battles that we're likely to see tomorrow, whether it'll be Debuchy or Sagna, we're not sure, versus Ahmed Musa. Also, Emmanuel Menica, who gave Argentina quite a rough time.
Yeah.
And he's been giving, he gave, I think, the Bosnian defenders quite a rough time a couple of matches ago. He's going to go up against what looks to be Lauren Koscielny, and who would be the partner, Vincent, who would be his partner?
Varane, the Real Madrid.
Rafael Varane, that's right. Also in midfield, John Obi Mikel will have to keep tabs on Paul Pogba, who's just an absolute dynamo.
Yeah.
In the middle there, you know, and then up front, any number of French strikers will probably look to fill their boots against the Nigerian defenders. But also, we've got the French goalkeeper of the season in Vincent Nyema.
Yeah.
Go for Nigeria, and I think it's been, as you said, the goalkeepers have really been sort of underrated this year.
Yeah. I really fear this goalkeeper. I fear he will, you know, give his socks, give it 100%, and well, can be tough. Where
do you think the battle will be won or lost, Sima, in this game?
I think actually there's a player that a lot of people are overlooking for Nigeria, that Babatunde, who's injured, and I think he has been also a very big player for Nigeria, and I think he's played a big role in a lot of the wins and a lot of the games, and I think that's going to be a big loss for them. And I think that might also be a downside in terms of, I mean, playing against France. France has really impressed everyone. I think they have been the underdogs, because beginning of the tournament, everyone was saying France, especially like you're saying, with the loss of Ribéry and Nasri and stuff. I think people didn't expect them to do that well, but I think they have a lot of talent that is actually shining right now. And I think it's not going to be easy at all for Nigeria. Sorry. I'm a Nigeria fan, by the way, so I would love to see them win.
Okay. Oh, we'll touch on Morgan Schneiderlin later in the podcast as we talk about Arsenal players and Arsenal-related players. But going on to the Germany-Algeria match, a lot have been made about this. 1982, the infamous match, you know, that was apparently, you know, fixed between Austria and the former West Germany to knock out Algeria. Do you think, Sima, you're half Algerian, is that right?
No, I'm Lebanese.
No,
yeah.
You're Lebanese, but you have Algerian friends or something, isn't it?
No,
you were saying the other day you like them because you've got an affinity with them or something like that.
Yeah, the Arabs stick together.
Right. What's the feeling then? You know, do you think they could pull off a surprise, or do you think that Germany will be comfortable tomorrow?
Yeah, I think Germany will be very comfortable, unfortunately. But yeah, they will be very comfortable. I think Algeria, they play really well as a team, but I don't think they have what it takes yet.
Okay. James?
Yeah, I'd love to have heard what Mo would say, because I know he loves the German contingent from Arsenal, but I've seen his tweets for Algeria as well through the tournament, and I'd love to hear what he's got to say. But it's tough, isn't it? You know, Germany are just trouncing everything that's put in their way. They're, you know, stomping them dry. So I think Muller's going to have his dinner again tomorrow, score a few goals. I think Algeria have been admirable. I think they've done really well, but I just can't see it. I'd like to see it. You know, I like a surprise, I like a shock, but I just can't see it happening. I'm sorry.
Marcus, who's impressed you most for the Germans?
Muller. Well, he annoyed me though, because he lost me some money in the other match. But I would say him. Klose has still got it. Ozil, he's been great, very good. I heard people saying, what game was it? The USA game, that Ozil wasn't playing well, some rubbish like that. The amount of chances he created, and he was everywhere, involved in everything. Anytime I was shouting at the TV, like, a goal was coming, Ozil was the one involved in it. So, you know, just because I think on the finishing end, Germany weren't too great in that match, but I think Ozil's had a good tournament so far. All the Arsenal players are looking good in this tournament, and the ones to come back, such as Campbell. So
you make a point about Ozil. I mean, they've played him differently from how Wenger plays him. Wenger plays him in behind the striker, but he seems to be playing on the wing or on the right for the Germans, doesn't he? And I heard a stat. I think that he's one of the is he the top assister in this World Cup so far, or the second top assister? or a creator of chances in the World Cup.
Yeah, chance creator. He's the best chance creator of the first round
of the World Cup. And I mean, that's crazy. Like you said, Marcus, people are still wondering about, what he could bring to us, or whether, or what kind of, he doesn't seem to be that impressive for the Germans. I'd be interested to hear from the German fan what they think, because I think recently there was, one friendly, apparently they were booing him or something.
Yeah, they really gave him a hard time, actually, yeah.
Yeah, so it'd be interesting to know what they think now. Have you bumped into any German fans, Marcus, in your travels?
German fans, not so much. I went to the Fun Fest for the game when they battered Portugal. There weren't that many of them there because it's Brazil, so there's way more Portuguese fans around. So I don't really see too many Germans. I haven't had a chance to speak to many Germans, unfortunately. But I think when I get back to Rio, there should be quite a few more around if they do beat Algeria. So I'll be in Rio back again on Saturday.
Okay, cool. Vincent, the Germans, they look quite well oiled, don't they? I mean, are they the most dangerous of the European teams, do you think? I mean, who do you think is the most dangerous European team in the competition now that could challenge the South Americans?
Well, Germany is the most consistent European team. France has a chance in this tournament, like underdog. Yes, I can say that. But Germany is consistent, and even if they lack a bit of pace and speed from behind, and I think the best chance for Algeria will be their speed and their pace on the wing, especially. But it's the only thing they got, because Germany is so tough, and also as a team they can score from quite everywhere. Müller is unbelievable in front of the goal, but they got also Özil, Kroos, Schweinsteiger can come as a sub. It's just unbelievable, and it's all like that. So I think in the end, as usual, as Lineker used to say, the Germans will win.
Yeah. Can I just ask about the Algerians? There seems to be a lot of French-born or French-trained Algerians in that team now, isn't there? I mean,
yeah. In fact, in France, you have a lot of Algerian people who support both France and Algeria, in fact, because, it's, the two countries are really close since years, because of their history. So I have a lot of, Algerian friends, and, there is a lot also that, you're right, a lot of Algerian players who, play or used to play in French League One, like Feigouli, who is gone after in Spain. You get a lot of Algerian who are part French and Algerian and choose the Algerian nationality.
Brahimi's been very impressive. He's another one that was he French trained, or did he come from a French club and he's now playing elsewhere?
Maybe Lens, but I'm not sure.
Okay. Cool.
I'm not sure of that, but you have several who came from French training camp.
Yeah, there's one player from the Tottenham, isn't it? I can't remember his name. Yeah,
Ben Taleb, yeah. He used to play for Lens in north of France.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Was he in the French youth teams and then he decided to go for Algeria, and was that what happened?
He could have choose the French nationality. Yeah, he was he was on the edge, but he finally chose the Algerian one.
Well, you know what? Being a Tottenham player, he's probably used to being inferiority.
Yeah.
Inferiority complex.
Well, when you got Varane in front of you, you ain't got much of a chance, have you, really?
Inferiority complex, I think he's got. Marcus, I know you've got to go, but which Arsenal players have impressed you the most so far, and which players on viewing the World Cup do you think Arsenal have the most chance of getting?
Okay, I would say the most impressive Arsenal player has been Campbell, because he's technically an Arsenal player, and he's just done things I wasn't really expecting of him on this stage. We have a chance of getting, well, hopefully Ochoa. Snyder Lane, I think that's going to happen. I really want us to get Sanchez now. After watching Sanchez yesterday, like, he had a good game. It wasn't great, but in the tournament in general, Sanchez has been playing well. Benzema, I was more of, when people were saying Benzema or Balotelli, I was saying Balotelli. I just like Balotelli. But watching this tournament, seeing how well Benzema plays with Giroud as well, I think Benzema would be a good move for us here. You kind of put me on the spot here, so I just kind of think. And I've been drinking a few beers. I'm drinking one right now, so those are what I can think of at the moment.
Okay, cool. All right then, mate. Well, enjoy the rest of the World Cup. Hopefully we'll get you on again before the end of the tournament. Where are you off to now? Where are you off to from Salvador?
From Salvador, I'm in Salvador till the end of the week, and then I'm going to go back to Rio, because it's not easy to just go from city to city to city, especially since I'm here alone. I'm a student, so I ain't got too much money, and I can't speak Portuguese, so it's a bit of I just limited myself this time around. Salvador's been really nice. I extended my stay here actually, because I was gonna go to another city in between, but then I just decided I like it here. I'll stay here and then just go back to Rio. Because Rio is where like everything's happening. Really, at the end of the day, that's like the mecca of the World Cup in Brazil. So I'm headed back there now.
Cool. All right, then we'll enjoy the stay, mate, and speak to you soon.
All right, you guys take care.
Yeah, you too, mate. Have a good time.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye. Take care.
Bye.
So, going back to Arsenal players at the World Cup, Sima, which Arsenal players have impressed you the most?
Joel Campbell and Giroud. I mean, Giroud, because of that game against Switzerland. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Okay, James?
Yeah, I've got to say the same. I think, we were talking about it earlier. It seems to be the younger players that are really impressing the most. Like before the tournament, people were saying, this is going to be Messi's, this is going to be Ronaldo's. They weren't really, people saying, his Neymar capable. And, Joel Campbell for me, he hasn't really sprung out of nowhere. We've all known the talent that he possesses I remember watching him in a friendly against Spain. I stayed up late at night to watch it, and he nutmegged Puyol, who at the time, he wasn't as old as he is. And he everyone knows the talent Carlos Puyol has. And he turned around like he did against Man United, and he lashed one in. And I was like, oh wow. I was like, why is this guy still on loan? What are we doing? What are we doing? But thank God he is going to come back. And I really hope that he at least is on that bench. I don't know if he'll start, but I really hope we don't loan him out again, or we cash in on him because he's had a good. Well, I really want this guy to stay, and I really want this guy to play. He's really impressed me. And as for Giroud, in that Switzerland game, I never knew he could run that fast. I don't know if anybody else. I sat there and was like, what's that?
I was surprised too. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, if you did this more for Arsenal, you would get half the stick that you get. Which some of it's unjust. I will admit some of it's unjust, but I think I just think them two have been superb, really. I mean, Ozil, like people said, you can't be the top assister and you're rubbish. Your chance creator. I just think people just nitpick at Arsenal because it's the only one they've ever spent massive money on, and it's just the fun thing to do, isn't it?
Exactly.
Indeed. Vincent, who would you be your picks?
Well, I'm not going to be original, but yeah, Campbell definitely. As I said, he's impressive. He seems, older. He's mature, really, and I'm sure he will stay. He's not going to be loan. No, it can't. It can't possible that Arsene do something like this. He's perfect for the English game, and he remind me, all things apart, but he remind me Valencia of Manchester. That that kind of player, really tough, fast, good crosses, and gave 100% during all the game. And but he is more technique, skillful, and impressed me. About Olivier Giroud, yeah, I was surprised by his run too, but he's in full confidence now, and when he's full confidence, he's well, he can be the striker will expect him to be, and he's dedicated to his job with this French team, but I can assure you that it will be the same next season with Arsenal. And as Wenger said, when there is movement around him in the box, each ball he received can be deadly, and we see that with France. So well, and Ozil, Ozil is really good, but that's Ozil, and I'm sure he will be shine next season. He will be the massive player with Ramsey, the two top players of the Arsenal FC.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right. So in terms of players that could be coming to Arsenal, we've all heard about Alexis Sanchez. The new one has been Morgan Schneiderlin. Can we just move on to the right back situation, because it's very interesting that the French squad. Debuchy's displaced Sagna at right back, and in the last couple of days there's been a sort of a groundswell of rumours or talk that Debuchy could be coming to Arsenal. It's probably surprised quite a few people, because nearly everyone in their horse thought that Serge Aurier would be coming to Arsenal.
Yeah.
Sima, we'll start with you. What do you make of the right back situation for Arsenal? Who would you think will come in, or who would you like to see coming in, but who do you think we will see coming in?
I'd like to see Aurier come in. Debuchy, I think he's a good right back, but I do feel like I feel like Sagna is a lot better defensively than Debuchy, whereas Debuchy is very good offensively, I think. But I think Aurier gives the overall. I don't know. Plus also I see that he really loves Arsenal, so he has also that passion for the club. So that might also be an advantage for us. I don't really know.
Okay, James?
Yeah, it's a tough one, really. I think it's the whole, does he want two 21-year-olds, Wenger obviously, does he want two kids fighting for that right-back place? Does he want the maturity? And Debuchy, for me, like they just said, offensively, I don't think he's a brilliant crosser of the ball, but he's adequate, he does the job, but defensively, I don't think he's as good as Sagna, or, I wouldn't personally like him there. I mean, I think if Seamus Coleman would have been the one for me, ideally, but now he's negotiated his new contract. We stalled, I think, too much there, and he's signed a new contract at Everton now. But Aurier, I think he's got the perfect balance, and I saw the crosses he was putting in during the tournament, and I'm like, you do that at Arsenal, you got Giroud there, you got Podolski there, you got Ramsey will go for. Someone's going to get on the end of them, and that's all you need. That's all you need, because, the style that we play, the fullbacks are going to push up, so,
Vincent, what's the news coming out of France?
Well, it's days in, days off, different news. Talking about Aurier, I think he's got the qualities to play with Arsenal. He's really close to what Sagna was when he came. Young, fast, good crosses. Yes, I believe Sagna has a good crosses ability. Kill me. But the thing with Aurier is he can play right back. He can play centre back. He did it with Toulouse since 2 seasons, basically. But he's also really fast. He can play a lot forward. So that's the point. But the both PSG and I think it's Marseille are offering him a contract. And the situation is PSG want a right back, another right back, and it will be or Aurier or Debuchy. So basically, Arsenal will, take the other one. Considering Debuchy, there is a lot of sounds around him, and Arsenal is playing in Premier League, so he's he knows the English football. He's a good player. I might say he's not as good as Sagna defensively speaking. He's good offensively. He has especially a very good crosses ability, but he's not in the air challenging. He's not as good as Sagna, and sometimes he's a bit lost defending. When France conceded the second goal against Switzerland, he covered all the offside line of the French defense because he was misplacing, and that's a concern. But he can improve, I'm sure of that, and he's a good player. So both Aurier and Debuchy can be a good add to the Arsenal team.
It's funny that you say PSG are interested in Aurier. They've already got is it Janetti? No, what's his name?
Jallet is.
Jallet.
They got Van der Veel as well.
And they've got Van der Veel,
yeah.
They got Van der Veel. So are they going to release one of those guys?
Yeah. I think Jallet will leave. Van der Veel has a strong contract, earned a lot of money, and he's most. He's not. Well, I would say I don't rate him. He's a bit overrated for me, but well, Jallet is good, but he's not what PSG expect. They need star. They need stars, and Jallet is not.
Okay, so if you were a betting man, where would you say Aurier could be? Would you say he'd be at Arsenal, or would you say he'd be at PSG, or?
I think Aurier. I won't say that Aurier loves Arsenal. I'm not sure of that. Okay, yeah, he took pics of him with Arsenal shirt, but in a recent interview, he said he's a Real Madrid fan. Okay, so I would take with a pinch of salt. But
can you repeat that? So he said he's a Real Madrid fan.
Yeah. He said that. He said that. Yeah. in a French TV show. But
right.
Well, so I have friends from Toulouse. His former club, his club, and who said to me that we don't know about him. He will move, but I think he is a good player. He wants to play firstly in English football, with English football, and Champions League. The thing is, PSG has a lot of money, and they can give a big contract. But you never know. I would bet that Aurier can play with us, but that's a tricky one. I must say that's a tricky one.
Yeah, so it's not as sure as it was before when some fan interviewed him at a friendly and he said he's joining Arsenal. That's you wouldn't.
Yeah, to be fair, I think that videos about him saying yes. I think he didn't understand the question.
I think the same.
I think he was just like, let go of my hand. I've got to sit on the bench. Yeah. I'm trying to do a job here, mate. Do you know what I mean?
Okay, cool. All right, Sima. The defensive midfield situation, there's been talk of having Martinez and so on and so forth. Now, yesterday, today's paper, there's Morgan Schneiderlin's come up again.
Yeah.
In his last match against Honduras, I think he was the top in tackles. I think he made 10 successful tackles or something like that. He's very good for Southampton. He's been there for many years. He knows the English game. He's very young. He's from Alsace, which is the same place, same region as Arsene Wenger. So all the points would make you think that he's coming to Arsenal. Do you see that as would you be happy with Morgan Schneiderlin as our defensive midfielder acquisition?
Yeah, of course. I mean, initially, I'm still dreaming of Gustavo. I really love Gustavo, but I do think Schneiderlin would be perfect. Like you said, he has the experience in Premier League. The French players playing together, which is probably amazing for France as well. I think there are a lot of positives. I don't know. I'm really confused about that position. I don't know who I want. Every time I watch a game, I feel like I want another player to come. But that's the case for every single position as well.
Yeah, indeed, it is. Vincent, in 2008, Morgan Schneiderlin made comments in the newspaper or to a journalist saying that he could never, to see his name on the back of an Arsenal shirt would be a dream come true. Who would refuse a club like Arsenal? I don't know if you saw that interview or if you read those. It surfaced again on Twitter in the last few days. What do you think? There's a strong possibility of Arsenal grabbing him. I think they're quoted as 24. I think the price tag is something like 24 million or 20. I don't know, pounds or euro.
25.
25.
I saw 25 euros, so a bit more in pounds. But Morgan is, as you said, he is from Alsace, close of a little village, close from Strasbourg. So the same town of like
Wenger.
Wenger knows him, no doubt. Yeah. And the fact is, when Schneiderlin left Strasbourg, he went to English football, but he was an Arsenal, maybe not a fan, but he knew Arsenal and he was an admirer, but he chose to play in lower league to learn, and because he is, I don't say that because he's French, but or because I want him to play for Arsenal. He's really clever. He's a clever guy, and he decided to play in lower league and to learn, the job, to learn the English football, because that's his dream was to play with Arsenal, but at really top level, and to be ready for this. Today he's playing for Southampton. He's doing great. Pochettino, the manager, is gone to, that first stop in close Arsenal. Okay. And I have a friend who is really close of Morgan. He knows him closely, and he said to me that Morgan is really an admirer of Pochettino. Pochettino learned him a lot as a midfielder, and but the fact is Southampton are upset with Tottenham, because Tottenham, let's say that, still Pochettino to them and didn't behave well, which is not a surprise from Tottenham, and Southampton are really upset about that, so they don't want to sell the player to Southampton, even if Pochettino is now the manager. They don't want to sell the player to Tottenham. Okay,
yeah.
And so if Arsenal, splash the cash, the 25 millions, they will, Southampton will let him go. And the fact is, Schneiderlin wants to play the Champions League, and that's a lot of good sign for Arsenal to make him a new player next season.
James, Vincent makes the point that Pochettino is now at top at the other club. And,
you didn't
yeah.
He said it.
And he, Schneiderlin, had a very good relationship with him. What's usually the case in these kind of situations where a manager leaves one club, goes to another club? Is usually an agreement that he can't sign players from his former club for a period of time. Usually, we don't know if it's the situation here, but you would imagine that he'd probably, if given the chance, he'd want to take someone like Adam Lallana to that club, or Shaw, because they're definitely lacking a left back up the road, aren't they? So the fact that he hasn't gone in for them, do you think that probably the same case would apply with Schneiderlin, where he wouldn't take it, he wouldn't make a bid for him, and therefore leaving a path clear to someone like Arsenal to come in?
Yeah, for me, like you guys have just said, with the location of where he's from, and the fact that Wenger's a very admirable man of talent, and I think, like you said, he's plied his trade in the lower leagues of England to learn English football. He's got to a level now which I think he's a very, very, very good player. Very good player. And He deserves that move to the next, the upper echelon really of Arsenal. I mean, if you look at Ricky Lambert, people go, "Oh, what a story for him to come back to Liverpool after applying his trade." It's sort of like Schneiderlin, he's done like his trial runs of the lower league. He deserves now the chance to get to a bigger team. I don't think Spurs, whatever. I'm sorry, I've said it now. I don't think they won't go near any Southampton players, but I think Southampton now and Koeman especially, something's got to stop. And Koeman is a respectable manager. He's a very, very good manager. And I think some of them Southampton players will go, do you know what? I might sit it out for a season or two, at least, January time, just to see what this guy does, like Pochettino. And I think Schneiderlin might be one of the ones to do it. I don't really know if he will come. I would like him to, but at the same time, I'll be quite controversial here. Sami Khedira is up for sale. Yeah. And he's quoted at 15 to 20 million. I would rather have a Sami Khedira for lesser money than what Schneiderlin will cost.
Do you guys agree? Do you agree with that, Sima?
Yes and no. I mean, Khedira would give the experience, which is amazing, but at the same time, Schneiderlin would have him for a much longer time. I mean, he's young. He's I don't know. He's still fresh. He's excited. He knows the league. I don't know. I think I prefer Schneiderlin.
Okay. What about other names that have come up? Resurface again are one of the Bender boys. I don't know if it's Lars or Sven, whichever one of those. And again, you said Luis Gustavo.
Yeah.
He was the name on everyone's tongues last week. So it still seems to change from week to week, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Vidal also.
Yeah, and Vidal was
44 million.
I don't think I believe any. I mean, it just sounds.
I don't believe Vidal, Giles. Yeah. If Juventus are going to sell Pogba, they're not going to sell Vidal as well.
Exactly.
And to me, it just sounded like he was asked a question. What do you think of Vidal? Oh, he's a great player. He's one of the world's best.
Yeah.
And then they said, oh, well, Wenger must be in the market for him. You know what I mean? And go on.
Just to say that I got the chance to spend a day with Giroud beginning of May, and we talked about the team and the issue in the middle, and he said to me that after that Chelsea nightmare, I don't want to remind that all the players talk with the staff. And they said to Wenger, well, we need a sitter. We need a sitter. And we need a defensive midfield. We need a real, a wall. A new Gilberto Silva, the wall.
Yeah, definitely.
And they ask. They don't, it was in the conversation. He said to me that, well, it was okay, but we ask. And I'm pretty confident that Wenger analyzed it. In his mind, he said, okay, I will splash the cash on that position because it's needed. And Schneiderlin, I heard about Khedira. He's a great player, no doubt. But first, I fear the injury because he was recently injured. He's older and he's less complete than Schneiderlin. Assuming he's not, able to drive the play if needed. And Schneiderlin can do it. He's not Özil. I don't say that, but he can drive a bit as the number 8 in the middle. Not even as the number 6, a true midfielder, defensive midfielder, but also as a number 8, like Aaron, like Ramsey. So yeah, you can put a lot of money on Schneiderlin without a doubt, I think.
Okay, cool. All right, so moving forward as we get into the striking positions, a lot of talk about Alexis Sanchez coming in last week. I mean, he's been sort of simmering, but in the last few days, last week, he's really sort of come to the boil. Vincent, I think both you and Sima seem to suggest that you'd be happy to have Giroud up front with runners, everyone sort of running around him. You think you get the best out of him. Would you be happy with someone like a Sanchez coming in to help Giroud, or would you want also, apart from Sanchez, another number 9 striker in there as well?
Well, with Sanchez, Campbell, Walcott, Podolski. Well, I think a lot of combination. Sanchez is a really good player, but he can play on the wing. He can play up front. I think it's the best solution, the best add we can dream of. He can play alongside Giroud, but also in place of Giroud, and Giroud can have a rest. So yes, Sanchez would be a terrific add to this team because he's got experience. His dribbling abilities is impressive, and you just look his game against Brazil yesterday. He is everywhere. So I will really like to see him under an Arsenal shirt.
Sima?
Yeah. I agree. I would love to see Sanchez with Arsenal as well. Like Vincent said, that he can play also on the wing, and I think in terms of Giroud, we saw in the beginning of the season he was very confident. He was scoring goals. He was giving assists, and we even had fans really excited saying things like, "Oh, who needs Van Persie when you've got Giroud in the beginning of the season?" So I think with Sanchez that we could get that confidence back in Giroud, especially the fact that he could be able to rotate with them, and he is a very good player. His dribbling skills, his pace, everything. I think he is exactly what we need.
Okay, James.
Oh, he'd be a wonder buy. He is class. He is class, and the versatility, like you guys said, is so important. But for me, personally, you know, Giles, me and you'd like talk quite a lot on Twitter and stuff. If signing Sanchez would be good for me because I think he'd be like how Man City utilised Jovetic. You know, he can play on the wing. If we need him as a striker because Negredo's injured, Agüero's injured, he can play up front. But if you sign Sanchez for me, you need two out-and-out centre forwards. You still need two out-and-out centre forwards. And you need one of them to be another one who's on the level of Sanchez. And then you need one who's not big, like not a big name, but like a Remy or a Bonny that's going to get you the goals in the Premier League.
Remy can be a good add too.
I'd love Remy. I'd love Remy and Sanchez. Remy and Sanchez would be good for me.
Yeah.
I'd be happy with that.
Remy is fans of Thierry.
You can see that the way he plays.
Yeah, like him.
Yeah.
But also, like, you know, he chooses the same number, the 14 with Newcastle. He's dressing like him. His hair, is just, you know, the short.
Yeah, he does the thing with the socks like Henry, doesn't he? Henry has the socks high. Yeah. He started that off. Yeah.
But it's totally on purpose. He's love with Thierry Henry. He wants to be like Thierry Henry, and I think Wenger knows that. But like you said, he can be a good add because he's not as big as Sanchez, but he can be a good sub anyway.
Well, I know he's gone now and people are happy, but you know, losing Bentner and you know Park, I don't even know why we signed him in the first place. But these are people that are going, and you know, Sanogo to step up. I think Sanogo might be loaned, but he is one of them. I have said the minute he scores one, he'll score a ton. He just needs to get his first one first. And I mean, Akpom, I don't know, I like him, but you never really see him. So I think we still need two centre forwards as well.
We have Gnabry too.
I think he might go on loan. I can't see him getting so much more. I mean, he had his chances last season, and then he was dropped. And, you know, and we've got Walcott to come back. Poldy's still there.
If you sign Sanchez as well, I can't see where Gnabry's going to get in. Unfortunately, I hope we keep him. I love him, but
I would prefer to see him given a chance ahead of Sanogo. But I just, you know, I think he's going to go on loan. I can't see how many chances he's going to get next season.
I think me Archie will be dead and buried if we do sign Sanchez. I can't see me Archie ever getting a chance at all.
I think I don't know how they're keeping him alive. I think he's rubbish. He's just not kicked on since he's come back from Feyenoord. Go on.
I was going to say, if you watch him when you're at if you watch the highlights of him from when he's at Feyenoord, and then you see the performances he's made for Arsenal. And when he was on loan at Bolton and Wigan, you think, what's happened here?
Yeah, it's
his
crazy.
Development's just gone straight down the pan.
and also, again, with the Serge Gnabry case, you've got Joel Campbell coming back as well. So where does...
It's good for competition. It's exciting if you're a fan, I tell you.
It's
an exciting time.
It is indeed. All right, so before we go, I need to focus on Belgium. Sima's team. You're playing on Tuesday. Do you think the Red Devils are going to end the American dream, or do you think there could be, it could be an American nightmare for you guys?
No, I hope we will end up winning. I think Belgium could. I mean, I've been reading a lot of tweets, people saying they're overrated, they're not such a good team, they have a lot of good players, but they don't play well together. But I also think they have the ability to be a really, really good team together, but they haven't played in such big competitions for 12 years. And I think people are really judging them too harshly. I think a few games and they'll start getting their mojo back, as I wrote on Twitter a few days ago. Yeah, I feel like we have a more complete team than USA. So that's my take on that.
Okay, all right. So before we go, let's get your predictions for the rest of the round 16 games. Start with Vincent, Costa Rica, Greece.
Costa Rica.
All right. Sima.
Costa Rica.
James.
Costa Rica.
Okay, going on tomorrow. Nigeria, France. James.
I'm going to have to go France, Giles. Sorry, mate.
Sima.
France.
Obviously, Vincent, you're going to pick Nigeria.
Yeah. So let's say 2-2 and extended time. Okay.
All right. I'm going to have to go for Nigeria, aren't I? All right. We've got Sima, Germany, Algeria.
I would love to say Algeria, but Germany.
Okay, James.
Germany.
Vincent.
Well, Germany, despite my poor friends, will certainly cry, but Germany.
And the final two, okay, we've got Argentina, Switzerland. Vincent.
Argentina.
Sima.
Argentina.
James.
They were my pick from the start to win it, Argentina.
All right, and then finally we've got Belgium, United States. James.
I'm going USA. I think their passion, their drive, everything. You can't. I don't know. It's infectious, and it pains me to see an American team getting further than the English team. I don't know what's happened here. It's probably because they're all German, but anyway, that's a different argument for a different day. But yeah, I think USA are going to do it. I really do.
Okay. All right, Vincent. Who do you predict for that game?
I really like both teams. I like Belgium, but I like US too. Well, it's difficult. I would say also the penalty shootout. So 1-1 and penalty shootout. I don't want to. And well, let's say that to the random.
Sima.
Belgium first.
Cool. All right. Great stuff. All right, guys. That's been great having you all on. Thanks to James.
Oh, thank you, mate. Thank you.
All right. Sima, finally, we got it done, didn't we, today?
Yeah.
All right. Enjoy the sunset. And Vincent, thank you for coming on.
Thank you a lot for your invitation. Thanks a lot.
No problem. That's been Going Around with Arsenal Fan TV podcast, the World Cup Weekly. My name's Giles. Wishing you all a good evening and come on Costa Rica.
Good. Joe.